I found out about my husband's affair 6 months before his mistress showed up at my door. 6 months! I know what you're thinking. Why didn't I confront him immediately? Why didn't I kick him out, file for divorce, and move on? Because I'm not impulsive. I'm strategic. And I knew that if I played this right, I wouldn't just end up divorced, I'd end up winning. It started when I noticed weird charges on our joint credit card. Expensive dinners at restaurants we never went to. Hotel rooms in our own city. Jewelry I never received. My husband, David, worked in finance and traveled for work sometimes, so at first I thought maybe these were client meetings. But the frequency was too suspicious. I hired a private investigator. Best money I ever spent. Within 2 weeks, I had everything. Photos of David with her, a 26-year-old junior analyst from his office named Melissa, videos of them checking into hotels, text messages the PI managed to retrieve through some tech magic I didn't ask questions about. They'd been seeing each other for 8 months. 8 months of lies. But here's what really made my blood boil. In the text messages, they weren't just talking about their affair. They were talking about me. Melissa called me the old ball and chain. David complained about how I let myself go after we had kids. They joked about how stupid I was for not noticing. They even discussed their future together, how once David divorced me, they'd get married and I'd be out of the picture. I didn't cry. I didn't scream. I got to work. I consulted with the best divorce attorney in the city. I learned everything about my rights, our assets, and how to protect myself. We had a house, savings accounts, investment portfolios, and David's very healthy 401k. We'd been married for 12 years. In our state, that meant I was entitled to a significant portion of everything we owned, including the house, most of his 401k, and a very generous alimony payment since he's the higher earner and I sacrificed my career to raise our kids. But I didn't file for divorce. Not yet. Instead, I started documenting everything. Every late night at work, every suspicious charge, every lie he told. I kept screenshots of everything the PI gave me. I opened my own bank account that David didn't know about and started moving small amounts of money there. My safety net. And I also did something genius. I befriended David's boss's wife at a company event. Her name was Patricia, and she had no idea what I knew. I casually mentioned how proud I was of David's hard work and how I hoped the company valued loyal employees. I planted seeds. I made sure she liked me. Trust me, this becomes important later. For 6 months, I played the perfect, unsuspecting wife. I smiled, I cooked dinners, I asked about his day, and the whole time, David had no idea I was building a case against him that would destroy everything he'd built. Then, one Saturday afternoon, my doorbell rang. I was home alone. I'd made sure of that. I'd sent our 2 kids to my mom's house for the weekend and told David I needed some alone time. He was probably with Melissa, thinking he had the whole weekend free. I opened the door, and there she was, Melissa. She was younger than she looked in the photos, dressed in expensive clothes that my husband probably bought her with our money. She had this confident smirk on her face like she had already won. "You must be David's wife," she said. Not even a hello, just straight to it. I smiled. "And you must be the mistress. Come in." Her confidence faltered for just a second. She wasn't expecting me to invite her in. She thought she'd come here to intimidate me, to stake her claim, to tell me she was stealing my husband. She had no idea I'd been waiting for this exact moment. She walked into my living room like she owned the place. "I think we need to talk about David," she started. "Oh, I agree," I said, gesturing her to sit. "Can I get you some coffee? Wine? I have this amazing Pinot Noir that David bought last month." "Well, actually, you'd know about that since you were with him when he bought it." Her face went pale. You know? No? Honey, I've known for 6 months. I know about the hotels, the dinners, the jewelry. I know about every text message where you called me names and made fun of me. I know about their plans for their future together. I know everything. She tried to recover. "If you know, then you know it's over between you two. David loves me. He's leaving you. I actually came here to tell you that myself, since he's been too much of a coward to do it." I laughed. Actually laughed. "Is that what he told you? That he's leaving me?" "He's going to file for divorce next month," she said confidently. "We're moving in together. He already put a deposit down on a condo downtown." "With what money?" I asked, genuinely curious. She blanked. "What?" The revelation. "See, here's the thing, Melissa. While you two have been playing house and planning your little future, I've been playing chess. Let me tell you what's actually going to happen." I pulled out my phone and started showing her documents. "First, I've already filed for divorce 3 days ago. David doesn't know yet. He'll be served papers on Monday at his office. Very public, very humiliating." Her eyes went wide. "Second, I've documented everything, every affair-related expense, every lie, every hotel receipt. In our state, infidelity affects how assets are divided. My lawyer estimates I'll walk away with about 70% of everything we own, including the house, most of his 401k, and a very generous alimony payment, since he's the higher earner. Third, and this is my favorite part, remember Patricia, David's boss's wife? The one I've been having lunch with every month? Turns out their company has a very strict policy about workplace relationships, especially between supervisors and subordinates. David is your superior, isn't he?" Her face went from pale to ghost white. "I sent Patricia all the evidence this morning. Photos, text messages, hotel receipts charged to the company card. Oh yes, some of those were on the company dime, which is embezzlement, by the way. David's going to be fired by Monday afternoon, and you're probably going with him for violating company policy." "You're lying," she whispered. "Am I? Check your email. I CC'd you on the message I sent to HR this morning. Professional courtesy and all that." She grabbed her phone with shaking hands. I watched her face as she read the email. It was beautiful. "Why?" she finally asked, tears starting to form. "Why did you wait? Why did you let this go on?" "Because revenge isn't a sprint, Melissa. It's a marathon. If I'd confronted David 6 months ago, he would have had time to hide assets, prepare his defense, maybe even turn this around on me somehow. Men like David are good at that. But by waiting, by documenting, by playing the long game, I didn't just catch him, I destroyed him. And you," I continued, standing up, "you came to my door thinking you'd won, thinking you'd taken my husband and my life. But you didn't win anything. You got a cheating, lying man who's about to be unemployed, divorced, and broke. Congratulations. You can have him. That condo he put a deposit down on? That was our joint savings account. The one I just froze yesterday. He's not getting that deposit back. Those expensive dinners and gifts? All documented as marital waste that he'll have to pay back in the settlement. You didn't steal my husband, Melissa. I gift-wrapped him and all his problems, and I'm handing him to you with a bow." She started crying. real tears now. This will ruin my career, my reputation, everything. Yes, I said simply. It will. Just like you were perfectly happy to ruin my marriage, my family, and my life. The difference is, I actually did something worth protecting. What did you do? You slept with a married man and called his wife names. That's not a relationship. That's just sad.
I walked her to the door. She left crying, probably calling David to warn him, but it was too late. Everything was already in motion. The papers were filed, HR had the evidence, my lawyer was ready. I'd spent 6 months building an airtight case, and there was nothing either of them could do to stop it. David came home that night around 10 p.m., clearly having been with Melissa and probably panicking. He tried to lie at first, but I just handed him a copy of the divorce papers. You'll be served officially on Monday, but I thought you deserved a preview, I said calmly. He went through every emotion: denial, anger, bargaining. He promised to end it with Melissa. He begged for another chance. He cried and said he'd made a mistake. I just stared at him. You had 8 months to feel bad, David. You didn't. You made fun of me. You planned a future without me. You spent our money on her. The only thing you're sorry about is getting caught. He tried to argue about the settlement, about his job, about how I was ruining his life. I cut him off. Your mistress showed up at our door today. Did you know she was planning that? Did you send her? His face told me he had no idea. She came here to tell me you were leaving me, that you loved her, that I'd lost. But the funny thing about losing David is that I'm walking away with our house, most of your retirement, alimony, and full custody of our kids because of your infidelity. So who really lost? The divorce was finalized 4 months later. I got everything my lawyer promised and more. David did get fired, and so did Melissa. Last I heard, they tried to make it work for about 6 weeks after everything exploded, but apparently being unemployed and broke isn't as sexy as sneaking around was. They broke up. David's now living in a studio apartment and working a job that pays half what he used to make. Melissa moved back in with her parents in another state. Me? I'm thriving. I took the money from the settlement and started my own business. My kids are happy and healthy. I started dating again, a genuinely good man who thinks I'm amazing. And every time I walk into my beautiful house that I now own outright, I smile. People ask if I feel guilty for how I handled it, for waiting and planning instead of just leaving. My answer is always the same. David and Melissa made choices every single day for 8 months. They chose to lie, to cheat, to disrespect me and my family. I just made sure they faced the consequences of those choices. The Mistress showed up at my door thinking she'd won my husband. She had no idea I'd already won everything else. If this revenge story hit you in any way, hit that subscribe button so you don't miss my upcoming video.